Welcome to the Catholic News Herald Update. I'm David Haynes. Marking your doorways for a blessing, finding the baby Jesus in a cake, and remembering Bishop William G. Curlin. But we begin with sore feet on a cold day. January means it's time for the Marches for Life that take place both in the Diocese of Charlotte and in Washington, D.C. The Charlotte March for Life is set for Friday, January 11th. At noon, the marchers will walk from the Diocesan Pastoral Center for a little more than a mile to Independence Square, the center of uptown Charlotte, for speeches and prayer. And from there, the marchers will process to the federal courthouse to pray the Rosary and the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. The March for Life commemorates the 1973 Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion. Since then, more than 60 million unborn American children have been killed. The National March for Life will take place in Washington on January the 18th. And on that day, Bishop Peter Jugas and Raleigh Bishop Luis Zarama will celebrate Mass together for North Carolina pilgrims at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. We will have coverage online of both marches as they happen and in the next edition of Update. An ancient Latin rite to bless homes and gathering places is gaining popularity in the diocese. More than 200 people gathered recently at Charlotte Catholic High School, where a new organ for the chapel was also unveiled. The occasion was the Epiphany Blessing. Water, chalk, and salt are all blessed and then sprinkled around a school, church, or home. The chalk is used to write an inscription above doorways. The numbers of this inscription represent the year, 2019. The crosses represent Christ, and the letters C, M, and B represent both the names of the three magi, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, and also the phrase, Christus Menosionem Benedicat, which is Latin for, may Christ bless this house. If you would like to perform an Epiphany blessing for your home, a link to the rite can be found in the description of today's update. The Charlotte Latin Mass community and St. Anne Parish celebrated the Feast of the Epiphany with a celebration on January the 6th. The festive event included the traditional Mexican pastry decorated to imitate the crowns of the three magi, and hidden inside are baby figurines symbolizing the baby Jesus when he was hidden from King Herod. The cake is a popular Epiphany tradition in Spanish-speaking countries. And finally, the January 18th edition of the Catholic News Herald is going to include a special tribute to our late Bishop William Curlin, who died 1 year ago. Bishop Curlin was much loved in the diocese during his many years of ministry. All of his traits of joy, jocularity, and love for Jesus were on display when he was installed as bishop in April of 1994. The installation of William Curlin as the third bishop of the Diocese of Charlotte took place over 2 days, April 12th and 13th of 1994. On the evening of the 12th, Bishop Curlin gathered with 150 priests at the Cathedral of St. Patrick in Charlotte for evening vespers and the official installation. The Catholic News and Herald described him as a priest's priest. Joy was evident in the group photo that was taken on the steps of the cathedral. The next day, an installation mass was celebrated at what was then the largest church in the diocese, St. Gabriel Church in Charlotte. The church was filled with 1,600 dignitaries, friends, and well-wishers from the diocese and from the Archdiocese of Washington, where Bishop Curlin had served as an auxiliary. Outside the church, he was escorted by a handbell choir to cheers and smiles. Among those attending was Cardinal James Hickey of Washington. The papal representative, Archbishop Agostino Cacavillian,
so the Holy Father is very close to him and very close to the community here.
And the first two bishops of the Diocese of Charlotte, the retired Michael Begley and John Donahue, who had vacated the Charlotte Diocese to become the Archbishop of Atlanta.
And the devoted lay people of the Diocese of Charlotte will respond with great generosity and love.
The Mass had beautiful music, lots of incense, and a greeting for Bishop Curlin by leaders of Protestant denominations as well as Jewish rabbis. In his homily, Bishop Curlin introduced the diocese to his unique oratory style, an eloquent mixture of humor.
And in a special way, I want to thank Father O'Rourke, who keeps whispering me, stand up, sit down.
A mention of his beloved Mother Teresa.
All this humanity of suffering all around me. I stood there horrified with such pain, such poverty. This little woman standing next to me said to me, oh, look at Jesus all around us.
And an exhortation to everyone into a deeper relationship with Jesus Christ.
And I would hope that together, you and I, shining with the Christ in us, we can bring that light into our world and make it a better world. So if you ask me what I've brought to you, I brought my life, I brought what possessions I have, I brought my experience. But if you ask me what I brought, I say what I said to my brothers last night, my brothers and sisters, before God is my judge, I have brought you my heart.
The Mass ended with a blessing and a thunderous rendition of Holy God, we praise thy name. And with that, Bishop William G. Curlin began his 8 years.
My brothers and sisters, before God is my judge, I have brought you my heart.
As the shepherd of the Diocese of Charlotte.
May he rest in peace. More coverage of the anniversary of the passing of Bishop Curlin can be found in the January 18th print edition and online edition of the Catholic News Herald. That's going to do it for this edition of the Catholic News Herald Update. I'm David Haynes. God bless.